Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1173. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today, we hear from the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster. Plus, we bring you the return of the fascinating news segment we call News Random. There's so much going on.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
In this crazy world we live in.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Do you remember when I talked about the neighbor that lives behind me, and he's got this dog that barks and drives me crazy? And then I thought, well, maybe my neighbors don't hear the dog. Then I found out that they do, and we commiserated, and we were wondering what the hell we could do. I know you,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
find this all fascinating. What ended up happening was, though, I got a letter in the mail,
Mike's
on Saturday,
Daily
saying, "Dear Mr. Matthews,
Podcast.
your dog has garnered a complaint. Someone down your street is complaining that your dog barks too much. But my dog hardly ever barks. It's the neighbor's dog that's barking all the time." It sounds something like this. That's what their dog sounds like. It wasn't me. So I couldn't believe this. I got this on Saturday. There's a phone number on there that says I can call in on Sunday and express my views, voice my complaint about this complaint that was lodged against me when it should have been against my neighbor. So what I do is I call Officer Elliott. She's very nice with the Alameda County Police Department, the Animal Noise Division. And she said, "Yeah, no, somebody complained about you." And I go, "Well, my dog hardly ever barks." And she said, "Yeah, but you're not home all the time, are you? I mean, no one's home all the time. So I'm sure there's times when your dog's out in the backyard and is barking." And I said, "Well, no, I have a roommate. He's told me that Basil hardly ever barks. And when he does, he sounds like this. And that, oh, look who just walked in. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?"
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
I think it's interesting that the authorities still tried to push their weight around and say that it was your fault.
How are they saying that?
Well, they were saying that your dog's outside, so thus he must be barking and must be at fault.
Yeah, I got a little of that. I've been the victim of the East Bay authorities' way of trying to find you guilty when you're not type thing, and you have to talk even louder and go, "No, that's my neighbors that their dog is making all the noise." In fact, I had that pre-recorded sounder that you heard. That is actually the dog barking, and I played it over the phone for the lady, Officer Elliott. Oh, look who else just walked in. And she said, "Oh, wow, that is loud." But by the end of the conversation, she was like, "Yeah, you're right. I did send it to the wrong person. I'm going to send it now to your neighbor." So this letter, though, it's kind of interesting. This letter of your dog is too loud. I don't know if you've ever got one of these letters. Let me explain to you these letters are so scary. But they're not that scary, actually. That's what's interesting about you open the letter, and there's actually a couple of brochures that tell you how to keep your dog quiet or from barking so much, like what might be the causes of your dog's barking. They're actually trying to help you. And then I think from what it said and what they sent me, this is actually only the first step. If the dog were to continue to bark all the time and annoy neighbors, there's several more steps ahead till finally something, some actual violation, law infringement is happening, and the DA gets involved like way down the line. So it was fascinating to get that material. I'm happy to learn that the neighbor that I've been complaining about for months, that has been that their dog's been barking forever, that he's finally going to get one of these letters, and he should get that. And people say to me, "Oh, Mike, why don't you just go and tell the police and have the police show up and, like, arrest a guy for having a loud dog?" Well, it's not that easy, folks. I spoke to someone last night who actually did that exact thing, and you know what happened? That neighbor isn't moving. That neighbor stays next to you, behind you, to the side of you, wherever that neighbor lives. And you have to face that neighbor, if not every day, from time to time. And you don't want to have the icy relations, and you want things to be good. So this one guy, he did that. He called the police, and the neighbor came over after the police stopped by, and he came by. This guy is like 6 foot something with his son. And he goes, "Why did you call the police? Why didn't you just come over next door and say?" To which my friend said, "Well, I did one time go next door to someone else whose dog was barking. And that guy ended up yelling at me and saying, 'Yeah, well, why don't you call the police? The police aren't going to do anything.'" So he said, "This time I thought I would just call the police." That was his logic. And the guy said, "Well, listen, if my dog's ever barking, here's my card. Here's several phone numbers. Call me at these numbers." And then my friend, the dog barked again really loud and was barking for a long period of time. So my friend called the guy, and the guy came home, and the dog stopped barking. I don't think the dog was hurt in any way. Anyway, cafe anyway. That's the whole world of dogs and barking.
Anyway,
that's it. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is a wonderful place. Oh, speaking of dogs, let's look at the podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
This dog has gotten into her own kind of trouble. This dog does not belong to me, but I won't go into the drama that surrounds this lovely little dog. But I love this dog so much. I call her the circus dog because she will grab a ball like twice her size and walk around with it. That's Bailey. And one day I got to drive Bailey in my car, and that's her sitting in the front seat. And she's just got this cute look about her. She's some kind of a pit bull, cattle dog mix. And she sometimes gets along with Basil the boxer. Sometimes they do not. They've had their little scuffles. But anyway, that's Bailey, and I got to see her on Friday night. A lot of stuff happened this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover it all on today's show. But there was a party that I DJ'd. I was the karaoke master of a party last night and was still able to get to bed early enough to wake up at 4 a.m. today. And the people that I did it for were awesome. Then there was, and I even got some free food from it. That's cool. You get a little dinner, a little barbecue, little pulled pork, etc. And then on Friday night, there was another party I was at for my friend Robert Owen Welsh, who hosts the segment Welsh on the World. And the opener to that segment sounds like this.
Welsh on the World.
And I play that simply because it was his birthday, and happy birthday to Robert Owen Welsh. But he and his wife and then their parents and a couple other people showed up, and it was great. And we ate. Robert's mom made this cheesy bread that was unbelievable. Gosh, cheese. Am I right? Am I right? All you lactose intolerant folks out there, it's still good. And us lactose intolerant folks, we're willing to pay the price. We love it so. And there was barbecued ribs and wow. And Bailey was there, the dog from the picture. So, hey, it was a fun weekend all around. Lots to get done, including, and then getting that letter from the Alameda County, the noise control people. That was awesome as well. So what an interesting weekend. And then Hillary, our only savior against Trump, gets pneumonia. And I think we should get into that story now with News Random.
News Random.
This is the big story. definitely. You've probably heard a lot about it already, but according to the MSN website, she abruptly left, of course, the 9/11 anniversary ceremony yesterday, needed to be held up by 3 people before she appeared to stumble off a curb and was helped into a van. Several hours later, her campaign revealed she had been diagnosed with pneumonia on Friday and advised to rest. Of course, everyone going, well, why didn't they tell us that she had pneumonia on Friday? Were they trying to make this another secret they were trying to keep? Which is not looking good for the Hillary campaign. In a statement, Hillary's doctor said the former Secretary of State had been overheated and dehydrated at the event in Lower Manhattan. Lisa R. Bardak, the doctor, said, I have just examined her. She is now rehydrated and recovering nicely. The physician said that Mrs. Clinton had an allergy-related cough, and during a follow-up examination on Friday, the candidate was diagnosed with pneumonia. She was put on antibiotics, advised to rest, and to modify her schedule. Oh, wow, one of the other characters walked in, and I didn't even... Go ahead, what were you going to say?
Hi, Mac. I make the root beer and the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, you're interrupting my story.
Yeah, but I wanted to tell you I stopped dating that girl that founded that apron app.
Oh, yeah, wasn't it called the Burgundy Apron?
Yeah.
And you guys are done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll continue with the story then.
Yeah, okay. And also, I gave Hillary some of my earth beer on Friday, so that's why she got pneumonia.
Oh. Well, that explains it all. Clinton exited the apartment on her own shortly before noon. She waved to reporters and said, I'm feeling great. It's a beautiful day in New York. Oh, that's good. Trying to, make it more positive. In the meantime, a video surfaced on Twitter that showed Clinton being held up by aides as black vans pulled up. She stumbled and appears to fall off the curb as she is helped inside. After leaving her daughters, Clinton was driven to her home in Chappaqua, New York, and made no public appearance. She later called off plans to fly to California today for 2 days of fundraising, campaign events, and an appearance on Ellen DeGeneres. Trump, who attended the same event marking the 15th anniversary of 9/11, was noticeably restrained. That's not going to last very long. Asked by a reporter about Clinton's health incident, Trump said, I don't know anything. But it's going to go into this. All right, you saw her fall down. That's the kind of president you want, that falls down. You're not going to vote for her. Look at my bottom teeth. Vote for me. I'm Donald Trump. Or he'll say something to that effect. The incident compounds an already difficult stretch for Clinton as the presidential race is entering its final 2-month stretch. Despite Trump's numerous missteps, the race is very close, and many Americans view Clinton as dishonest and untrustworthy. On Friday, Clinton told donors that half of rival Donald Trump supporters are in a, quote, basket of deplorables, which is an awesome name for a rock band. Oh, we're the basket of deplorables. And this is our new single called Pneumonia. A comment that drew sharp criticism from Republicans. Clinton later said she regretted applying that description to half of Trump's backers, but stuck by her assertion that the GOP nominee has given a platform to hateful views and voices. Now Clinton is sure to face new questions about whether she is physically fit for the presidency. Trump and his supporters have been hinting at potential health issues for months, questioning Clinton's stamina when she takes routine days off the campaign trail and reviving questions about a concussion she sustained in December 2012 after fainting. Her doctor attributed that episode to a stomach virus and dehydration. She just needs to drink more water. That solves everything. Agua, and don't drink the Brewmaster's root beer.
Yeah, don't drink it, die.
Clinton's doctor reported she is fully recovered from the concussion, which led to a temporary double vision and discovery of a blood clot in a vein in the space between her brain and skull. Clinton also has experienced deep vein thrombosis, a clot usually in the leg, and takes the blood thinner Coumadin to prevent new clots. Now, of course, now we turn our attention back to Trump. Yeah, didn't he see a doctor for 5 minutes to get that special checkup that he needed to show everyone he's okay. He was in the doctor's office for 5 minutes. The doctor said something like, yeah, he pulled up in a limousine, came in, walked out, was done. It was just basically the doctor just signed something and didn't even really examine him, so supposedly. But it was a stifling hot day, apparently, and could have, with the history of Hillary getting dehydrated, of course, something like this was going to happen. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, an animal that has no problem with staying hydrated is a dolphin. Don't you love dolphins? Wasn't that loud? Two dolphins have been recorded having a conversation for the first time after scientists developed an underwater microphone, which could distinguish the animals' different voices. This also according to MSN. Researchers have shown for decades that mammals had an advanced form of communication using distinctive clicks and whistles like that to show they're excited, happy, stressed, or separated from the group. But scientists have now shown that dolphins, after the volume and frequency of pulsed clicks, to form individual words which they string together into scientists in much the same way that humans speak. Researchers at the Karadag Nature Preserve, that's in Russia, recorded 2 Black Sea bottlenose dolphins called Yasha and Yana. That's another great band name. We're Yasha and Yana. We're ready to rock you with our new single called Clicks and Tweets. Talking to each other in a pool, they found that each dolphin would listen to a sentence of pulses without interruption before replying. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to let you go now because you got things to do, and listening to this podcast was one of them, and I'd like to thank you for that. Next podcast, it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Benita, did you say you were going to leave?
Yeah, Mike, I gotta go back inside cafe anyway.
Why?
I forgot my keys. Bye.
Well, bye to you as well.
Hydrate.
Minute analysis.
What the Jimmy Crack Corn? Hey, check out the website mikesdailypodcast.com and the Amazon link. If you're going to buy anything through Amazon, click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. You have to turn your ad blocker off, though, because otherwise it doesn't show up on the PC version anyway. And then buy whatever it is you're going to buy through the Amazon link at mikesdailypodcast.com. There's also the PayPal. If you'd like to donate to the show, you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And yes, all the past podcast pictures, past interviews that I've done too, with all kinds of cool indie bands, indie artists all over the world, particularly though here in the Bay Area. And you can hear some of the past interviews I did with country music stars back in the 90s when I was on a country station called K-Hey. All that in the cassette cubbyhole, because I had to save all those interviews on cassette. That was the leading technology at that time in the 90s. Oh, the 90s.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!